related to biology only through Daniel, that I would like to thank very much for inviting me here. And I would like to thank also Professor Kim for organizing this conference and inviting me here. So this is a joint work with Tetiana Savitska. So let me give you a brief introduction to the topic. So I'm considering the following nonlinear parabolic equation. So ut, I'm looking for u depending on x and t, ut minus divergence of a. Here something I will define a little bit later. This is the LP norm of the gradient of u to the power p, grad u to the p minus 2, grad u equal to f in omega times 0t. I will take Dirichlet boundary condition. So this is u x t equal to 0 on the boundary of omega times 0t, and some initial condition u at 0 is equal to some function u naught. So let me give you the assumption about that. So a will be a continuous function. For uniqueness, it will be also Lipschitz, but I'm not interested in existence and uniqueness of a solution to this problem. I'm interested to the asymptotic behavior. So, and of course, this is bounded from below by some constant, positive constant, and from above by another constant. I will assume that f is in L2 of omega. So for some part of the talk it will be not necessary. And of course depending on x only, not on t, because I want to have a stationary problem at the end. And the quantity here, grad u p to the p, this is just the integral over omega of grad u to the power p. Okay, so you should notice, and since I'm integrating on omega, this function here is depending on t only. Okay. So this is a typical non-local problem. So in biology you have many non-local problems of this type, but perhaps not with the LP norm of the gradient, but this problem is very interesting for several reasons. So I'm interested, as I said, in the asymptotic behavior in time. So what happens when t goes to plus infinity for u? So there is a special energy associated to this problem, which is the following: AU equal to 1 over p a of the integral, the grad u to the p minus integral of omega of f u, where a is a primitive of little a. So a of z is equal to the integral from 0 to z as ds. When you compute the differential of this energy, you're finding exactly this term minus this one. So I can write it down for you if you wish. The differential at the point u, this is just minus the divergence of a of the grad u in LP to the p, grad u to the p minus 2, grad u minus f. Okay, so in other words, the differential applied to v is equal to this against v integrated over omega. So this quantity is very useful for what follows. So let me give you an existence theorem. So under the above condition, there exists u, which is in C0t with value in W1P 0 of omega. Okay, so this is I'm sure everybody is familiar with W1P 0 of omega. This is a function with in LP with first derivative in LP vanishing on the boundary, and ut and the divergence of this A grad u p to the p grad u p minus 2 u belongs to L2 of 0t with values in L2 of omega. So if A is Lipschitz, the solution is unique, and u xt converges when t goes to plus infinity toward a stationary point. So first of all, in a simple case, you see this problem when you take p equal to 2, then you get the usual Laplacian. All right? So for proving this theorem, this is relatively standard. You use a Galerkin method and you get estimate and pass to the limit. So this is not the interesting point of my talk here. I would like to talk about the stationary problem. Okay? So this is the third part of my talk, stationary problem. So the stationary problem is obtained when you take ut equal to 0, and this is the solution of this problem, and you see this is related somehow to the p Laplace operator. So let me make this more precise.
And no condition for the discount p.
I beg your pardon?
No condition.
Okay. So yes, this is a good remark. For many things there is a condition p greater than 1, but for the theorem I'm interested in, which will come at the end, I will take p greater than 2. Okay? So omega is a bounded domain, yes. But this is just because we have the habit to work on a bounded domain. Perhaps you can extend something in an unbounded case, or when it's bounded in one direction, I don't know. So the stationary problem is the following. You're looking for u in W1P0 of omega such that minus the divergence of A grad u in LP to the P grad u to the P minus 2 grad u equal to F in omega. So in a weak sense, okay, this is this equation is satisfied in a weak sense. Let me call this problem stationary. So you know here, this term here is a constant. It's completely independent of the point in the domain because you integrate here. All right? So now let me bring this A which is a constant, inside. You see this term here is homogeneous of degree p minus 1. Okay? So I can write down this equation as minus divergence of grad a to the 1 p minus 1 u to the p minus 2 grad a to the 1 over p minus 1 u equal to f. Okay, since this is a constant, when you pull out this guy out the norm here, you're getting exactly this a. Okay, I didn't write the dependence in the norm of the gradient here. All right. So what does it mean? It mean that this function here is the solution of the P Laplace equation. So that is to say, minus grad phi to the p minus 2 grad phi equal to f, phi equal to 0 on the boundary. Okay, in other words, there exists a unique solution of the P Laplace equation. Okay, so if you're not familiar with it, take p equal to 2. This is a Dirichlet problem. Okay, you have a unique solution phi. Now, due to this homogeneity, this a 1 over p minus 1 u is just equal to phi. So we have a 1 over p minus 1 u equal to phi. All right? When u is a stationary point. Now take the gradient of this, the power p, and integrate over omega. Okay, so you get a p over p minus 1, the integral over omega of grad u p equal to the integral over omega of grad phi to the p. All right? Now take the power p minus 1 over p, so you get a of grad u p to the p. When you take the power p minus 1 over p, you get grad u to the p p dot p minus 1 over p is equal to grad phi to the p minus 1. All right, this is exactly what you get when you're taking the power, this power. All right. So, in other words, if you call this mu, all right, then you're getting that a mu times mu to the p minus 1 over p is just equal to grad phi to the p in LP to the p minus 1. All right? So a mu is equal to grad phi to the p minus 1 divided by mu 1 minus 1 over p. Okay, so in other words, what I have shown is if u is a stationary point, okay, this quantity satisfies this equation in R. So u stationary point implies that the grad u p to the p satisfy this equation that I will call E. Conversely, if you have a mu satisfies that, then you have a stationary point. In other words, all the stationary points are such that there exists a mu satisfying this equation. So let me show you that. So theorem, the how can I say that, the number of solution of the stationary problem is exactly the number of solution of this equation E. That is to say, there is a bijection between the solution of this equation in R and the stationary point. So suppose that you start with a mu solution of this. Okay? I want to show now that if mu is solution of this, it corresponds to a stationary point. So suppose that you have this equation. And solve the following problem. So solve minus divergence of A mu, grad U to the P minus 2 grad U equal to F in omega, U equal to 0 on the boundary. So you have a solution of this problem, okay? You can find a solution of this problem. It's unique. Now, let's call it U equal to U mu, all right? I do the same trick as before. The A, I can bring it inside to the power 1 over P minus 1. So that is to say, this U is such that A mu to the power 1 P minus 1 U is equal to phi. Same thing as before. You bring this A inside, you use the homogeneity, the uniqueness of the solution of the P Laplace equation, and you have that. Then you take the gradient, you take it to the P, you integrate over omega, you get A mu to the P over P minus 1, the integral over omega of grad U P equal to the integral over omega of grad phi P. All right? Now you take the power P minus 1 over P and you get A mu grad U to the P to the power P minus 1 equal to grad phi to the power P minus 1. This is what you get. But now look at this equation here. The grad phi to the P minus 1, this is equal to, perhaps I made a mistake here, I have a P coming. Okay. But the grad phi to the P minus 1, this is equal also to A mu times mu to the P minus 1 over P. All right? Now the A is different of 0. All right? So it means that you can simplify here by this, and you get that the grad U to the P, I'm sorry, I wrote it down not correctly. This is how it should be. So here you can divide by that, and you get that this guy with U equal to U mu is exactly equal to mu P minus 1 over P. So it means that mu is equal to exactly the grad U P to the P. All right? So it means that here in this equation you have solved the stationary problem. All right? So there is really a one-to-one correspondence between the point solution of this equation E and the solution of the stationary problem. So what does it mean for the stationary point? Let me denote by y of mu this function. All right? So this is a function like that. Due to the fact that p is greater than 1, this exponent here is positive, so the function goes to plus infinity at 0 and goes to 0 at plus infinity. So roughly speaking, we have something like that. So this is y of mu. This is mu. Now, I choose a. First of all, I said A is bounded from below and from above. Okay? So it means that your A, whatever you take, will start from here. All right? And this is bounded from below, so you will cut. All right? So there will be at least one stationary point. But you can choose a which is a little bit crazy and which does that. Okay? So, and here you have a second stationary point, a third, a fourth, fifth, and you can have a more complicated situation. You can even have here a continuum of stationary points. So then the asymptotic behavior of the solution becomes a little bit more tricky. So you can have, one can have one stationary point, several, and a continuum. All right. So I would like now to give you a classification of the stationary point. What kind of properties that they have. This is my paragraph 4, classification of the stationary points. As I said, there is always a stationary point because with assumption I have on A, you're always cutting. So if I come back to this energy, EU, which is 1 over P A of the grad U P to the P minus integral over omega of F U, okay? You can, where A of Z is a primitive of little a. So you can show, using the direct method of the calculus of variations, that E of U possesses a global minimizer. All right? Theorem EU has a global minimizer when you minimize it on W1 P0 of omega. But I'm not saying the global minimizer is unique, for instance. It can be that this is not unique, okay? Because, for instance, if you're cutting once in this situation, then all these points are global minimizers, okay? So, but we are sure that there is one. So now, here is the situation. So I give the theorem with a picture. So we have this situation. This is my function y. Okay. This is mu. And assume I consider a stationary point such that A is coming from below and is cutting here. Okay, and I call this point here mu star. So to mu star, I show you how to have a stationary point corresponding to it. Then this, when you have this situation, the U star is a local minimum of the energy. So in this situation, the stationary point corresponding to mu star is a local minimum. For E of U. Okay, of course, I mean, all the stationary points are critical points of the energy. All right. So, and in this case, this critical point is a local minimum. On the contrary, suppose now I consider the following situation, but I'm coming from above and I'm cutting here like that. All right? So this is my Y, this is my mu, and this is my A. I forgot to say, this is my A, and I have a point mu star here. And the picture is like that. Then the stationary point corresponding to this mu star is a saddle point. So all this needs a little bit of work. This is not so trivial, but this is a result. Now, you can in fact compute what is the energy of a point corresponding to some mu star. Okay, so let U star, a stationary point, corresponding to mu star. Then the energy E of U star is given by the integral from 0 to mu star of AS minus YS ds. All right? So then this is easy to classify the stationary point with at what energy level they are. So let me do a little picture here. So I have my Y, and suppose I consider 3 points. So I have this one here, and this one here, something like that, okay? So, and let's call it mu1, mu2, mu3, and the stationary point corresponding to this, we call them u1, u2, and u3. So if you use this formula, you see, when you are here, if you compare, so the energy of this point, this is the integral here, all right, the integral of A minus Y. When you're passing here, you're adding something positive, right? So then you have E of U2 is bigger than E of U1, all right? When you're coming here, you have E of U3 is smaller than E of U2, okay? And if you compare the bump here, you see that the sum of this bump is negative, so this energy is less than this one, Okay, so that way you can classify exactly the level of energy of each stationary point. So the whole goal of my talk was to prove a convergence result. So I will do it when I have a local minima, that is to say when I am in this situation. All right? So this is the last part of...
So the setting point has most index 1?
What's that?
Setting point.
Yes.
Most index 1?
Yes. I'm not sure about that. So it's a... how to say that? It's a local maximum in the direction of phi and a local minimum in the other direction. So all right, so the fifth part is convergence result. So suppose that we are in the following situation, theorem. Suppose that P over P minus 1 A prime of mu star plus A of mu is positive, equal to delta and positive. Perhaps I have to check my formula here because I don't want to give you this. Yes, this is okay. Okay. In fact, when you have this, you are in this situation. Okay. So I have a mu star satisfying that. Then, for any u naught, so this is my initial value, u naught, of my parabolic equation. For any u naught in this neighborhood n epsilon, and this neighborhood is a set of v such that, or the set of u, such that u minus u star, which is a stationary point corresponding to mu star in the gradient in LP, is less than epsilon, and EU is less than EU star plus, so this is a little bit complicated, delta epsilon to the p divided by 16, 18 to the p minus 2. So this is a neighborhood of the stationary point. You take your initial value in this neighborhood, then u converging toward u star. In W1P0 of omega. So let me briefly explain the thing. First of all, this is based on the fact that the energy is kind of a Lyapunov function for the problem. So if you compute, if you have u xt, if you compute au, okay, and if you take d over dt of au, so what do you get? You get, so this is minus grad a grad u p minus 2 grad u minus f times ut, right? This is something like that, and this is equal to in fact I have to put a plus, let me see. It's okay. Anyway, so this is equal to minus the integral of omega of ut squared. So it means that this is decreasing along the trajectories. Okay? So, and then the idea of the proof goes like that. We have an estimate. You can estimate AU minus AU star. And this is bounded by delta, the norm of grad U minus U star to the power P divided by 16, 18 to the P minus 2 for the norm less than some eta. Okay? So here is what happened. You start with a U naught in your neighborhood. Okay? So it means that you are there and you choose epsilon less than eta. Okay? Then this guy, let me write it down like that. Then this guy is decreasing. Okay? So you remains, I should put like that. So this guy is decreasing, so you remain with this inequality. But due to the estimate here, you get that this norm remains less than epsilon. So you're staying in the neighborhood, and since you know that U converges toward the stationary point, you are done. Okay? So all these results are published in two papers. One is in differential and integral equation. In 2014, I'm sorry. And the second part, this last theorem is published in the Journal of Elliptic and Parabolic Equation in 2015. And I would like to stop here. Thank you very much.